Christianity is a terrorist organization. Christianity takes the irresponsibility of the government and places it on Satan. You are a Christian and there is time for you to marry. Somebody says go and pray. Have you prayed? The person is crucifying your ability of using your understanding to know the person you want to bring into your house. How can somebody die for me, my father? And we are talking about how to lay the man on the dead and somebody is checking whether his cooler of rice is complete. Once a woman sees another man more authoritative than his husband, the woman can never submit under the husband. So that place is where women go and then they are listening to the voice of another man as a leader. It's very wrong. The only leader a woman should have is her husband. Number 13. Number 13. Christianity takes the irresponsibility of the government and places it on Satan. This is where the whole message of Matthias Isaac is centered on. Ozzy Bondo 1. Matthias Isaac is a gentleman who woke up in Africa and then he traveled to the he was once and then he was opportune to travel outside Nigeria and the man explored life in a new way. The man came back and began to shout. He says, "Awake thou that sleepest. This pathway you follow does not lead to light but death and destruction." So he began to see now that people who have health issues don't pray in the name of Jesus. I came here, the first statement you made that by his tribe you are healed. Nobody says that in America. When you are here, when you are sick, you have health insurance and you go there for receive medical treatment. The white man went and built a kidney transplant. Do you know how kidney transplant work? Sometimes we bring out your whole blood, put it inside the water, filter off the bad one and return back the other. Imagine that technology. So he was building that thing and he gave the Bible, the African man, a word of the scripture which says that sickness shall not be your portion. So when somebody now dies, you now says the work of Satan. When the person survives, he says the work of God. Irresponsibility of the government making available hospital in that village has been taken as the work of Satan. When we are coming, I was driving from Enugu now. I came from Enugu to this place. There is this road that I usually pass through that they call the Ezeagu Road. One lane. But the one coming in Oka, the one coming from Enugu, and the one I want to overtake, all jump on one lane. Young man, we die on accident, we live as a fowl. This is the responsibility of our government management of our road. But somebody has made somebody available in Catholic church, in Methodist church, in choosing. He says, spread your hands upon the main road and begin to cover the road by the blood of Jesus. You know, when I was going in Joshua Seman place, I usually cover the road by the blood of Jesus Christ. I will cover the road by the blood of Jesus Christ. Father, nobody shall not die. Nobody shall not
take over the way.
Yeah, take over the way. Nobody does take over the way in America, young man. When people want to go home, they come out from their car, tune on their car and start moving. Because the way they build the road, even if you close your eyes and you are driving, you will not have accidents.
In America?
I'm telling you.
Are you sure of that?
Check the last time accidents happened that took human being life. You can see a hospital in India, which will tell you in India, they will tell you clearly, says, this hospital have existed for, I can remember the name of the hospital, 30-something years without a pregnant woman dying in our hospital. 30-something years without a pregnant woman dying here. You now come to Africa, you see a woman who is pregnant, the first thing they do is that they begin to give her prescription of the Bible scriptures. For the Bible has told us that we shall not die like we shall deliver like the woman of the Hebrew. We shall not die during the child labor. And then the midwife have gone to his place where the woman wrote labor room. The woman removed labor room and put favor room. And one man entered and says, "The Becky the came on my jamam no na favor room. I'm all na favor room or boy na labor room." The woman in the favor room. Let's watch how favor room is. There is no ICU. ICU is what actually helps to sustain life against bleeding, because a woman who just brought child has possibility of bleeding, high possibility. And so if such have begin to happen, this woman have to be made.
ICU is intensive care unit.
Exactly, intensive care unit, which will sustain the person's breathing for a long time.
That's not a machine. That is a place.
I know what I'm telling you. That's a place, exactly.
Okay.
So this was not available in the favor room. Do you know what is available in the favor room? A very big King James Bible version, coupled with one olive oil that was collected from Adoration on Baka, and then one red candle with sticker. The sticker here is "You shall not die." Premature death is not your portion. So as the woman is delivering, and all of a sudden blood begin to come, you will now begin to hear speaking in. You know, your wife have not have issue while delivery. You will not understand. If you have seen where a woman is under duress during labor room, and the husband is outside, they will frustrate life out of you. You will just be hearing inside the place your wife is delivering. God, please, you have to show up this last time. For your word says in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 5, my wife shall not die. You be the next thing that you start coming out from your mouth is, my wife shall not die. You shall not die. God, you have given us, you have promised us your word as the word of life. Then the midwife will now want to push the high thing on pressure. That's like, Jesus, this is your promise. This is their promise. While they were doing this, a woman is going. Why in a joy? Why na? What are the thing? Then as the thing is that you as the man, sometimes you will not hold yourself again. My man, you have to gonna be careful. You will walk on a door. Bam bam bam. Keep on name of Kadipando. I say na poeba. Yeah, that's the problem. Then I be maybe all. I know. Yeah, to the bar because your woman was born now. You up to say that God knows everything.
He give it.
That God give it and He take it. That God said that in all things we should not give Him glory. In fact, they will remind you that if you finish burying this woman, you need to go Thanksgiving in the church. You need to show your gratitude that your wife died. But there was a hospital in India that for 30-something years have not lost one single person during child labor. How many have I given now?
You've given...
how many?
You've given 13.
13. So...
But before you go to 14, 15, 16, let's talk about Matthias Edzako, small.
Okay.
You mentioned him.
Yes, that's a big man.
Yes, you said Ozzy Bondo. Are you his protege? Are you more like a disciple? Are you more like a protege? Is he your master?
Matthias Edzako is my very good friend.
Okay, friend. Okay.
Yes, he's my very, very tight. In fact, he was the first person who gave me the platform of social media.
Okay. Matthias Edzako, a job for. I follow him too.
A very mighty man.
And then sometimes I resonate with what he teaches and everything. Yeah. Don't you think that he's actually copying the Christian system? Because now he has a church. Omen and Zezoku, they do Thanksgiving. They do some of those things. They dedicate their children. All those things, they do not do it in Igbo land. For example, me now, my wife, I've told her that if we give birth, that they are not taking my child to anywhere for child education.
What you must understand first is that people have zeal, but the people don't have the soundness of knowledge. Matthias Edzako is a pure, sincere human being. But his approach system is something that we need to sit down and modify so that he will come to retain and picture the true culture we are returning the people back into.
So you are agreeing that he's going astray?
Well, just wait, let me clarify you. We are not metamorphosing from one church to open another Omenana church.
Okay.
In Africa, we don't have religion. What we have in Africa is spirituality. And spirituality leaves you have its own defined work. Number one, when you come, I can give you 3 examples, 3 differences between spirituality and religion. Number one, spirituality does not have one location where it is practiced. And it does not have headquarters. Today, you ask somebody, where is the headquarters of Christianity? He says, at Rome. You ask somebody, where is the headquarters of Islam? He says, Saudi Arabia. So, religion have a particular structure of the house. But culture is how is your people doing it? Go to your place, the place where you people are doing it. Go and do it the way people does it. And then number 2, I'm giving you the difference between religion and spirituality. Spirituality does not interfere with your personal way of life. If you are growing up in the days of your grandfather, if you come to a time where you are ripe for marriage, they will ask you, there's a way you have to go and ask about her and follow the protocols your people used to marry. But then you are a Christian and there is time for you to marry. Somebody says, go and pray. Have you prayed? The person is crucifying your ability of using your understanding to verify, to know the person you want to bring into your house. He says it is you to go and ask God, that it is God will direct you. Now you finish asking God, you now bring a woman. The church is going to come to tell you how you will marry your wife. They will prescribe for you the doctrine, the system how you will marry your wife, the wedding and all of that. But in spirituality, there is no native doctor that comes the day you are doing traditional marriage. It is something that parents do. Maybe one day I will tell you the exact role the gods, the deities in Africa, they have specified role. They don't interfere with the way we do, with the normal way of human's life. But religion want to interfere with your normal lifestyle. Somebody dies in the days of our ancestors. There is no traditionalist that is going to come to tell you this is how you are going to bury the person. No. You have your way that your people bury a dead. Today somebody died. They are going to tell you that, like in my place, if somebody died, our culture is that if somebody died today, highest today or tomorrow, we put him under the ground. Then the people can now go and prepare for how they will come and celebrate a man who gave us life and shelters us. Because the ideology of celebrating on the day you are burying somebody already defeats the mindset of your mourning. How can somebody die for me, my father? And we are talking about how to lay the man on the dead, and somebody is checking whether his cooler of rice is complete and their mouth is complete. We cannot be chewing meat the day we are burying somebody. It already defeats the ideology that we are mourning. So we have to put this person on the ground, everybody cry, and we go. Then we now later come back to come and celebrate that there was a man who brought the light of Africa upon this earth. Come, let us celebrate him. That's why we do second burial. Christianity came and says, no, somebody will die for you. They will now first tell you that you need to go out to mortuary. You carry somebody, put him in mortuary. Maybe mortuary is charging you 20,000 every month. For 6 months. 20 times 6, 120,000. From your little business. The day you are going to bring the person to bury, there's going to be an ambulance. There's going to be all kind of palms. There's going to be all kind of noise. And then the pastor will come. You're not asking pastor, we want to bury somebody. What is your business there? The pastor says, no, I am not a spiritual person. I'm a religious person. In religion, we put eye in all the things you do. The pastor begin to come. He says, keep him like this. They will now begin to sing a song that will make everybody there cry. Because burial is the biggest place you will use to manipulate people into your slavery. Have you stayed in a place and they are singing, Nagafedi, Kababa, no gututu? You will feel to cry. They will now tell you, look at our brother like this. He was alive yesterday like you. Maybe the word of God was sounding to him like this, the way I'm sounding to you, but the man shut his gateway. But now you have one chance before you will be like, and as they are talking, you are looking at a dead man. Somebody is making mockery of your father in the public. And as he is doing that, he now says, if you want to give your life to Christ now, what I'm giving you is the count of 3. 1, 2, you now see all young boys are saying, nah, one name the everybody think about pota. You are now asking, in the days of our ancestors, when we want to do burial, there is no native doctor that comes. Go and bury the dead. Let's come back and celebrate the man who left. We cannot be celebrating the dead and be eating meat. And any day my father died, this is the way I'm going to bury him. I'm telling you practically. I'm not going to call Omen and Abuzizo Kunanu to come and start telling me how I will bury my father. If the day I want to now do celebration, understand, you will now invite people to come and eat. Christians are mad. These people are mad. Somebody died, and you are now telling the person you did not call me. How can somebody who is mourning be calling everybody on phone and telling you that I lost my father? Am I calling them to give them? That means I'm in clear sanity of mind. I am frustrated. I am depressed. I'm mourning. I carry the person and go and bury. Then I will now come back when I'm now in due state to celebrate a man. Burial is celebration of a man who brought you to life. Christianity came and destroyed it. Now teach you that somebody, as the corpse of the person is coming in, somebody is telling the people, nah, kula last time is bekwezu. Iyan e blekwa na mbia occasion before crate of malt. Ke kwani ndi bunya hanyi 3. And those who mad donilu eba ina poala. I'm doing burial. So you now see definitely doing burial. One organization will come and says, they did not treat us well. You now have to cook extra food to take to them. People, how can you treat people well when somebody is going on the ground? You are yasad. Yasad is also yasad mean Ishiga Chikotaro on before I miss Igba and English. So I'm just giving you difference between spirituality and religion. So the most important thing is that spirituality, number 1, doesn't have a location. Number 2, doesn't interfere with the ways people live their life. So, and then Christianity transcends beyond ideology, beyond a church.
Oburu ni chọrọ igwe anaghị ajụ ga-arụ oyi. Nwanne, jebe na Pine Leaf Estate and Properties Limited.
Some Christianity is an ideology. Somebody can say, I don't go to church again, but the person is a pure Christian because all his ideology correspond with Christianity. But like I told people, like I always tell people, anybody on earth, atheist is an aspect of Christianity. Atheist is just somebody who have come to realization that God is fake, that God is just an invention of my father to control the masses. But why I tell people that atheist is a Christian is because any man on earth, any human being on earth who believe that ordained marriage is one man, one wife is a Christian. It doesn't matter whether you have never seen church in this world. Well, if you believe in your heart that ordained marriage, there is a difference between you married one wife because this is what will give you happiness, or this is how you choose to. But if you believe that how nature designed a man and a woman to live is one man, one wife, my brother, even be touching on the Jesus. Is like staunch member of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, warrior.
Prayer, you eat the two tithes in Christian money, my Lord. The only thing money that I got church. So Christianity is an ideology. Understand? So now Matthias says I could have passion. What Matthias says I could now need is Bezimako. So we will now sit in a close room and discuss. So that place that is doing Omen and Abu, I just see it as a sensitization center. Sensitization center, I mean, is where you bring people to talk to them about this awakening. But a venue. But now, when you now begin to put in activities of and all other things, it will now start contradicting the same thing we are. And in fact, in my culture, when we begin to practice culture, there will never be any skin where a woman and a man is brought together to in anything in terms of worship. In Africa, we practice gender segregation. Men go with men. Women go with women. A place where you come and bring men, you bring women one side, and you are teaching them the same thing. There is no human being on earth who advises a CEO and his worker at the same place. Like you have workers here. Someone wants to give you advice. You will not keep your worker here and the advice is not done. So in our culture, we practice wood for the things of wood, gold for the things of gold, and iron for the things of iron. So what we do is that gender separate, because the place where Matthias Cesar now starts, the people now start seeing Matthias Cesar as the boss, as their Lord. What we will now do is that the same thing that is done in church, where women take the loyalty that belongs to the husband and give to the Reverend Father, they will now start seeing him as the the loyalty of a worker cannot be shared between two men. Once a woman sees another man more authoritative than his husband, understand, the woman can never submit under the husband. So that place is where women go, and then they are listening to the voice of another man as a leader. It's very wrong. The only leader a woman should have is her husband. So women will teach women in African Renaissance in their separate place, and then men will plan men. Because when it actually transcends beyond what we are not cracking joke. What we are doing is reviving of the lost pathways that once was. When we want to plan something discreet, a woman is not allowed to be there. Because a woman is a less logical human being. And the man is expected to be logical and take the leadership. So when we need to make when we want to make that decision, the first thing we do is we bring people under control. We bring women under control. And to bring women under control, we separate women from men. Just understand Omen and Abu as a place where we sensitize people. That's just what it is. Not a place we practice our culture. Okay. Thank you so much. How many have I given now?
I held you on the 13th. I held you. Okay. You know, there's something you said about hospital and then praying. Because this is a conversation. We were about that and you know, it took me back to where I lost my mother, General Hospital on Cha. And then where my wife has given birth 2 times now through cesarean operation. Okay. My wife, one of the best hospitals we have in Anambra. I will not do advert for them because they took money from me when she gave the birth. Yes. But this place now, normal hospitals, when I come there, you know, isi ogo, you know, show you that you are in the hospital. Yes. But this place, you can never even perceive one smell of drug. Yes. Okay? Yeah. I was present where they operated my wife. I was present there. After the operating my wife, they have to take my wife to another room called recovery room, where they placed machine on her organs.
Yes.
Nobody was there praying.
Yes.
Nobody was there babashing.
Thank you so much.
Nobody was there kabashing. I asked them because abi akuye mu nwam njebe na ICU ebe nwam no. Say, where's my wife? They say, your wife is in the recovery room. Go and see her. I went there. I saw a machine on her. The machine was reading. They were monitoring her organs. Monitoring where this is the second time. Second journey. You get? And nobody was there. Nobody was upon that hospital is owned by core Christians. Among Modipa Life Congregation of God. They understand these things.
Thank you so much.
But look at a general hospital in Onitsha where I lost my mother. My mother was dying. There was no place to put her on life support. And some of my relatives were there praying. Okay? And then look at what they do there. They want to then why and doctor need the ogo. So imagine the time life is about time. Life is about time. So imagine the time we say you don't go from the hospital. You get because I know that because that time I was still a struggling young man. That time my mother would be on life support. And one day I'm in a coma for years. Diego, they will until the person will be brought back to life. So that point that you made is actually very, very cogent.
And it's taking our life. Like
it is actually.
But in my village,
it is actually.
When my village, almost a new hospital they there. One day Namo, we brought to my father came back December doing very well. Tell man. This guy came back. Just Egundo Kenya, like this elderly man of age 50 something. They just says, let us do Egundo Kenya. Nah, because Egundo Kenya, BP won't rise. The man that go on a field though. But no hospital they Uboka. Before they carry this man from Uboka go Agbani. The man don't die. What would Christian come to do if not to tell that God have taken him or Satan or evil doers have killed him? So what we are clamoring for is a restoration of life. So you are speaking about this hospital now. The question is this beautiful hospital that give this attention to your beautiful wife, is it available to somebody in Ibariam? Is this hospital available to somebody's village in Ogboka? Is it available to somebody's village in Apugo? Is it available to somebody's village in Nanka? Is it
not just available, yes, affordable too.
Affordable too. Now, if it is available, the question if it is not available, the question becomes what then is the replacement? Because anytime something is not available, there must be a vacuum. Do you know the replacement? Quotations of if a Christian woman become pregnant, the first thing she does that she goes to take quotation Bible prescription from the pastor. Then we give her the one she will read in the morning, the one she will read before she eats, and the one she will read before she sleep, because the child she's carrying is a mighty child. And people are like, you know, the person that born Tinubu obo her mighty child because onye molo governor ebo hot no one kuku want a clip no boka mighty child anati people now for.
But you will not take away the fact that some Christians understand this thing, because this hospital that I told you now is owned by core Christians.
Now some Christians
understand this very thing, so you will not make mockery of the entire Christianity.
I make mockery of the entire Christianity because the entire Christianity is evil. Imata here be evil. Evil buni ya na egbu anyi. Evil buni ya the dangerous. Evil buni ya the genus. Evil buni ya.
But they are the ones that put this hospital that helped my wife.
No,
in place.
Christianity didn't put any hospital in place. The people who put the hospital in place is the white people who came here and put hospital, not Christianity.
But Christians went to employ that thing to help me. Because I did not go to that hospital for them to pray for my wife. I went there and then buy that machinery put for there to help my wife. Balance these things.
Am I even a Christian in your hospital now? This thing again. But like again, even in Enugu State now, only an Annunciation Hospital.
Okay.
I'm sorry for mentioning name. I just gave an instance. Owned by Catholic people. Now Catholic law the place. One name if you Annunciation Hospital in Enugu, announce money. Imagine that be announce money. Na be that place, the begin bed take your girl. My brother punye bail. I say you announce again.
Please go ahead with your 14 points and your 15 points.
Okay, we have just number 14 now.
No,
14.
14, 15, 16.
Okay, 14. Point
Yes.
number 15. Christianity.
14.
14.
Yes.
Christianity promotes wealth without process. Somebody came to testify that he got a job that he never participated in the interview. Somebody came to testify that he made millions, not by his strength or by his hard work, but because his grace has been made available to me. A young man you know in your street who did not even have a reasonable work he's doing, and somebody's at the back shouting, I tap, I connect.
I see.
Somebody is telling you to lift up your hands, that God is going to make you rich. In fact, any teaching on earth which teaches people to pray to be successful is demonic. And Apostle Joshua said, man, does it. Like, you know, when I began this thing, you wanted me to narrow it to a particular person.
Yes.
And I says, I will not narrow it to a particular person because there is no particular pastor who is exempted. All of them there must be removed. There must be stopped in Africa. Otherwise, our society will be insane. When you promote wealth without process, you have destroyed the people. Because what makes up when you are growing up in the days of your grandfather, you left the city after 6 months. Your father will come and say, my son, sit down. How do you get this money? So we are interested about the process, not just the result. But we live in a society today where your son just buy a car and come back. The man says, Chineke, on your way, it's surprising, with many blessings. All of a sudden, they block the corpse of the young man and says they have shot him. The woman cries and says, the question is, when do the moment we begin to celebrate wealth without process and teachings of miracle, somebody says that somebody have a fractured bone and he touched it and the fractured bone stretched. Is he not mad? Because we know that miracle is against Owangbede. Do you know what is Owangbede? Owangbede means we work in the afternoon and we eat in the night. So if you are teaching miracle, it means there was somebody who is going to not participate in the work in the afternoon, but when we came in the evening to eat, the person will come and eat. He's cheating nature now. Understand? We all went to plant yam. Nobody, this idiot didn't plant yam. But when we come in the evening to come and spend and enjoy, the idiot comes around. Miracle is against Owangbede. In fact, do you know if you have to be employed today by a China or a Japanese company, they are going to take the first 6 months as a Nigeria to train you not to bypass process. Because they know you came from a place where you are taught about results without process. You want the shortcut. When we are doing mathematics in our secondary school, there was a math we did in 200 level called Math 201. My brother, this math is is something that you need to be very, very intelligent to do. That math, I discovered 70% of the way we solved that math was through shortcuts. I'm giving you honest assessment because it is OBJ. And you now discover we are obsessed about getting A in this mathematics, not contextually understanding the pathway to this A. Because the mathematics was put there not for the result, but to equip us into the result, into the process. So if a white man employed an African man, the first thing he does is, please, young man, don't bypass process in this share company. Young man, please, don't bypass process in this exploration company. You will kill us. Because we come from a people who are taught Christianity and taught grace. What is grace? They now say grace is an unmerited favor. When a man who celebrates something that is unmerited is a criminal. Somebody that works for you here that you pay 250,000. You want to pay the person 250,000 and you make mistake and add extra zero in the front, 2.5 million naira. Alert, enter. The man shouts, hey! Power, the grace of God is sufficient. What comes in his mind is the last place where he went to crusade. And he will pay tithe. And then you are now calling the young man and says, nah, I made mistake. You ain't talking make it 250,000. Or say that because the grace of the Lord. That when it comes upon us, that we are them that don't know what God is doing for us. That God is, you have a mistake. Or say, no, this is the grace of God. That God have already told him that none is neighbor nepo fire e budding ogbenye. Onye neighbor nepo fire e budding ogbenye onu bo onye oli. Maka na onye eba nepo fire be eba nepo fire. Na yen neku. So until we destroy that people that teach us result without process. Africans, we keep on celebrating criminals. Christianity have terribly destroyed Igbos. We don't know how to talk. We have lost control of our women. We have lost control of our children. We now celebrate title over value. We now celebrate money over value. Because you see somebody today who just comes, he says he's a professor. Let me not even talk about professor. He says he's a rich young man. He has millions to spend. But now there is a young old man in that village who is doing blacksmith. Almost everybody that have cutlass in that village, that's blacksmith man. They bought that cutlass from that blacksmith man. And then a young man came with money and entered the community. They entered into 2 occasions. You will now see, they will tell the blacksmith man, Biko, Ghana azo, Odogwa Batago, Imana Kwa Lampo, Geneki Imana Kwa Lampo na law. We celebrate results without process. So the man who is a blacksmith man, who have done his whole work in producing all the cutlass that everybody use in this village, we go to back, Imana Kwa Lampo with money. We come and Kwa Lampo in front seat. So we now respect results without process.
But no be Christian do that one.
Now Christian, who taught us miracle, taught us result without process? Who taught us grace, taught us result without process? This thing didn't exist in our culture before.
I saying that Christianity introduced Okite and then...
Thank you so much. Christianity introduced Okite. And I'm going to explain it very, very well. You know, most of the time when I listen to people and they say Igwogu is a very bad thing, I look at them and I laugh and says, the only come menana. How I captured it is that Ogu is like electricity. Ofo is the insulator. Follow me carefully. Ogu is an electricity. Ofo is the insulator. Before the white man came, we have too many people in our villages who knows how to do all these things. But the insulator, then our Ogu, but the insulator shields them from using that thing against their fellow human being. So you see this young man, Ekehit will stay on the media and says, you see something like that. He is speaking it because he have electricity, but the insulator has been destroyed by Christianity. Because in the days when men were men, you know how to do medicine and you come out to boast that you know how to use the medicine to do prostitution, you will suffer grieving consequences. Elders will put you into panel because the insulator was there. So they take away the insulator, but the electricity is now there. So the electricity now begin to harm the people. So you now begin to hear about Okite. Okite now some young guy now who have a phone, who have Jerick song, and who have Igbo. You know, I've told people that once you see a young man who have met Jerick, his mentor, Balonya was once now for ego. If we Jerick, once in our hand, 1 pa, 2 pa, if you get in $100,000 billion, I broke till I get $1 billion, $1 billion dream. I've made Oginonya Hanozi, Onya Haka go far. You know, how many business 5 million putai na palana bupugishi. Or Obupugishi on store to if you get in street is not laughing, street is miracle, it's military. Because what happened is that when the insulator was taken away, and we are now left with only the naked wire electricity. So the charm began to destroy. Let me even tell you, when really African Renaissance happened, we cannot do much without Ogo. Because the primary purpose of a man is defense. We need to fight to defend our land. The defense of the society is not live in the hands of the police or the army. Men have to prepare. And so when you want to prepare a people that will go and fight, they were not people that will go and fight, and if they shoot them 1 bullet, they will die. There's a reasonable way you will prepare those people. But they will not die, but at least it will come to a point that they will not die like a fowl. Today in Japan, if Japan want to go to war, if you finish preparing the military men, you put them in the mouth of their spirit. America knows there is trouble. These people have entered in a place where even bullet is afraid of them. And so when the black man came, he saw that spirituality that shells the tortoise like a shell. And so he convinced the tortoise that the shell is a weight against himself. So when somebody says Naigwa will be your I look at him as a madman. He's just saying, I'm not saying that I have Ogu. But what I'm saying that the person does see that he's just seeing electricity, that the insulator has been taken away. When we bring back the insulator, if somebody go and sleep with a woman in Enugu, go and sleep outside today, possibly most times the person have mental issues. How was that thing instituted? Somebody says Ogu doesn't exist, but he believes in Alosi, that Alo is Alokose. Are you not mad? How did Alosi become activated? How did somebody steal your property and the person was forced to bring it back? How was it activated? Spirituality is magical intellectualism. And technology too is magical intellectualism. This is ability of a man to transcend into hidden knowledge. Me and you can go into farm, me and you and Yambaba. Yeah, Yambaba now. And all of a sudden you have advantage of understanding the language of plants. You know, plants speak. And then as you are sitting there, the plant is talking to you. This one says, I heal kidney failure. This one says, I cure teeth pain. The other plant is talking to you, says, look at me. I can solve this thing, a woman painful menstruation. And as this plant is talking, he is still talking to Yambaba and says, Yambaba, this one, that, and you're no longer talking to me. You have been carried into a new realm. And when you are there, what you're just looking at is the plants that will help humanity. It will now take the ability of you don't even need to be socketed out. If you are disconnected from that place, you will discover, you will struggle to remember those things. So immediately you begin to go and bring those leaves. So that even though you forget, you can look at it and say, I remember. That was how we healed all diseases before the white man came. Who says Ogu is a saint is a fool? How do you cure most of the things? All kind of health issues was cured with our traditional local medicine before. It is Ogu. It is magical intellectualism. But the insulator has been taken away and it began to harm us and it metamorphosed into Okite. So Christianity is the father of Okite. Point number what now? Okay.
15, Abi?
Is it 15?
Yes, let's go to 15 and 16.
Okay, let's go to... Okay, we are going to 15.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Now, number 15. Christianity is a terrorist organization. What is terrorism?
Okay. Terrorist, okay.
Terrorism is the use of fear to achieve what you cannot achieve through negotiation. So, all teachings about hellfire, about a human being burning perpetually in hellfire, all teachings about a last days, all teaching about end time is just terrorizing people to believe what they don't know. My dear sister have a little baby who is called Define, just a little girl of 2 years. The girl came back from school 2 days ago. And the girl do you know what the girl was reciting? Okomo. Do you know what was happening? The teacher have just finished terrorizing the children with hellfire stories. And so the teacher pictured a place of people burning everlasting. And the reason why they do it is that they want to terrorize the people mentally so the people can be glued. There is somebody that will be listening to me now who is seeing sense in the things I'm talking, but he cannot come out. Do you know why? He is under mental terrorism. He thinks, what if it is red or hellfire? I was talking with a professor in Unizik. Do you know what the professor told me? Lot of Africa. The professor was speaking to me about Christianity and I asked him a question. I says, you have a daughter. The name of your daughter is Princess. I says, if God killed Princess is a psychology student, 200 level. If God should kill Princess and replenish Princess with you with 4 more daughters, will you be happy? Will you be more? The guy says, no, God cannot do that. God cannot kill my daughter and replace my daughter with more daughters. I said, it's all right. There was a man called Job. Job have sons and daughters. God texted and gambled with Job, not only with his resources. He says he entered into his children and killed all. The question becomes, when God finished killing these children, he says he replenished 7 times. So he replenished 7 times means he gave Job, if there are 5 children, 7 times 5 children, that's 35 children. Are they the same age or newborn babies for Job to start training again to come back to the age of the ones that were killed? So you are not comfortable with God killing Princess and giving you 7 more Princess, but you are comfortable with God killing the children of Job and giving Job 7 more little children for Job. Have you trained a child up to 18 years? And then the child, God will come to kill the child 18 years. Let's say there are 7 children. And God now come and give Yambaba 7 times 7. That's 49. 7 times 7, 49. God now give you 49. Even if your wife delivered 49 once. When I was asking the professor, do you know what the professor says? It says the EAD. I said that this thing you are saying have crossed beyond Rubicon. But what I will advise you is to stop saying it in the class. because I am beginning to have influence on my classmates. And it is directly sabotaging the scriptural union they do every Friday. It's no longer seeing the population it usually see. So he says, I have seen that you are irrevocable, that you cannot be retrieved again. But what he wants to say is that I should stop saying it to my students. Understand? So, terrorism is Christianity is terrorizing the people by presenting to them pictorial view of punishment, pictorial view of fear. That if you don't do, like you are talking to a Christian today, the first thing the Christian says is, he is talking against Jesus Christ. Go and ask about what happened in Brazil. A natural disaster occurred in Brazil. And somebody have mentored somebody in Ogboka in a barrier who didn't even have a normal good road on a normal afternoon without natural disaster. Normal afternoon, no disaster. Only even a disastered man in Brazil is still better than you. Somebody have told an African man that a natural disaster that happened in Brazil is because they made mockery of Jesus. So what they are doing is just looking for things to mentally, unfortunate events to mentally terrorize you. Like if I finish talking with you now and I enter the vehicle and start going to Enugu, which I know it will not happen, and I died on the road. Oh, Malik Oli, when you post this video, people will say he never fails. I will become, yes, I'm telling you, if accidents killed Matthias Ezak any day, Matthias Ezak will become somebody that Christians will start saying he wants to talk against Jesus Christ. You now forgot that there are thousands of Christians who are actually coming back and they died of road accidents, even this week. So they will never see, if it happens to a Christian, they says God know the best. If it happens to a non-Christian, like I was telling my mother, anytime a native doctor die in my village, my mother will start to come to tell me, if you go near Guago, I'm going to need Guago, or pass now, na hada one, no Okusno, or one then have Guago, Snahan will lick or go save Lozia. Then the presbyter of our church, Methodist Church, Moke Kacho, Maka 5, Naka will be the young the man me. I don't know about one morning and one like that. Presbyter is the last level to bishop in Methodist. No man when they Jesus, say, mommy, onya do kwa Jesus of my kezu kwa ni me Jesus we lapo we nwo. Ina Jesus ajuju. Ajuju Chineke ajuju. O mazuli ye ni nam say okay, o mazulo ka debate we nwo. Mana o mazulo to pastor ji we. It is because they are looking for unfortunate events to mentally terrorize you. So when we want to create a society where people can be free to, like you say Christianity is good, sit down just the way you sat. So we can mingle mind. You give me reasons. And as you are telling me reasons, quoting Bible, as it is written in the Bible, we'll be checking on the street whether it is written in our street. Because anytime somebody tells me as it is written in the Bible, I will now ask you, as it is written in my family, as it is written in your family, as it is written in our society. Understand? So, but Christianity is just built on using terrorism, to make you to accept something on that faith. I'll give you point number 15. That's the last point I will give here. There are over 100 points. But you know, as I'm speaking, I'm getting a little exhausted. So let me just summarize it with point number 16. Christianity build people who walk against nature. Christianity build people who walk against nature. So you can see in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14, the Bible says a natural man cannot understand the things of the Spirit. So it is already a man who walk all their life against the pathways of nature. And when we transcend into that pathways of nature, you now discover why there is a lot of prostitution today in Africa. It's because of Christianity. Anytime you see prostitutes, just see Christianity. Sex is a basic need of life. We don't preach to girls not to have sex. We don't preach to young boys not to have sex. Sex is like a water that is coming close to your house, which must be shown a drainage. It's an erosion. And so for you, you must find it a drainage for it to pour out so that your head can be cleared. So the pathways of marriage our ancestors established. When a young lady is coming up at age 16, 17, when a young boy is coming out at age 20 something, they say to the young lady, see your husband, go in and sleep with him. They say to the young man, before you even come at age 20, 22, 23, see your wife. So we don't preach against sexual immorality. We make foundation that makes every woman to stay under a man. You now carry a young girl of 22, 23 years, put her in Unizik without a husband. And every day there is a Catholic or Anglican church that is telling the girl, abstain from sexual immorality. God hates fornicators. You are forcing the young lady to fight against natural hormones. And so if you have 10,000 today and go to any university, girls will come to your room. Because the pathways our ancestors solved through nature, a Christian have come to destroy the nature and then tell you that you don't need that a natural man, water, yana, corner spirit. So I tell people that morality is not preached. That was how I began this teaching. I says morality is not preached. The foundation of morality is built. That was how I began this teaching. So you don't tell a girl not to fornicate. Sex is a basic hunger of life. You create the drainage for it to flow away. Now, Christianity, line that this one is underage marriage, 16, 17 is underage marriage, and they began to teach monogamy. This will be another new topic.
Okay.
This will be another new topic because the greatest evil in the whole world. There are 3 greatest evil in the whole world. 3. Number 1, democracy. Number 2, Christianity. Number 3, monogamy. This is the 3 greatest evil in the whole world. Or just in the whole world in Africa, because remember I told you everything I'm speaking is culture. Greatest evil in Africa, 3 greatest evil in Africa is democracy, Christianity, and monogamy. But these things is culture of the West. And so there's somebody will be listening to me now who says democracy is being practiced in America and it's working for them. I agree. Monkey runs on the tree. Don't go and advise the fish to join the monkey. The pathway has been designed for them. And I'm going to explain when we begin to talk about democracy, the reason why it's not working. So continue with the question now.
We have taken much of your time. So I'll just ask you small questions and then, because I ran a research on you and then I have so many things that I want to ask you. But subsequently, we'll bring him back for a different show that we'll call Okunoka. That will give him a more broader time to actually express himself.
I know that this thing is BAM that we are now. I would think that maybe you ask me a few questions, maybe in democracy, maybe in monogamy, even though I will not do detailed analysis, because when we talk only about Christianity, somebody just think like we are just preaching against Jesus. But what we are talking is beyond Jesus. What we are talking is societal prison that we are inside. Like societal harm, societal destruction. Like this is not a content. So we must push this particular BAM we are now beyond Christianity to transcend, to touch maybe a little bit of democracy, even though we don't go deep into it. Then,
okay, feel free. I wanted to ask you a question pertaining a video of you I watched that you talked about Father Mbaka's prayer call that they used to Anna Wakad. I wanted to ask you. Please get in water. I wanted to ask you about that you say that automated message. But since we don't have time, so let's touch on democracy and touch on monogamy. We've touched on Christianity, okay? So why do you think that democracy is one of the calamities that...
It's not one of its greatest. You see,
okay.
When you go into the species...
Please louder.
When you observe how animals live in the bush, or how animals are calibrated or designed.
Democracy is defined as the government of the people,
by the people,
for the people. That is what Nigeria
is practicing. Yes. When you observe the ways animals live in the bush, you discover every animal is designed to function in a particular way. Some are created to compete, some are created to cooperate, some are created to kill other animals to survive. Some are created to depend on what other animals killed to feed. Some are created to eat vegetables. And so when you pick the culture of a people that are built on competition, to tell them to start practicing when you pick a culture of competition and impose on a people that is built on cooperation, you will discover they will struggle all their life and be killing themselves because this is not the ways of their life. And so in Africa, I can boldly tell you that the problem with Africa is not democracy. It's not our leaders. The problem with Africa is democracy.
How?
I'm going to be a little bit explicit.
Okay.
Democracy is the tree that is bearing the fruit of all the leaders we have in Africa today. The leaders are the fruit. Democracy is the tree. And so when the fruit is poisonous, we don't go about removing the fruit. When the fruit is poisonous, we go about uprooting the tree. You see, African leaders are not corrupt. African leaders are a set of people who are rejected by Africans, but are imposed on Africans by the Western institution called democracy. They are just bunch of fishes being justified on his ability to fly. And so in Africa, we are a people who have the culture of communism. Communism is direct opposite of the people that have the culture of capitalism. We are not a people who are governed by a one man. We are not a people who compete to find a leader. We are people who are led by elders. Because the leadership of elders is the leadership of chronology. The leadership of chronology is the leadership of experience. You know, in every company or in every institution, we have respect for elders. For like even if in this factory we are and this Yambaba content, you know people here who have worked here for 2 years, 3 years. There is a better way you relate with them than people who began to work last month. So we know in our culture that we have two types of leadership. One, leadership by chronology and leadership by talent. And so in leadership by chronology, people lead on elderly knowledge, experiential knowledge in Zenozo. And then leadership on talent, when a young man made exploits, maybe he conquered a war, or maybe he gave a very big solutions to people's problems, because there are people who are born with natural intelligence and wisdom. So the elders will say, this one we follow and lead us. So we are not governed by one person. Just like China. China was once practicing democracy. But once they did Chinese Renaissance, which I'm pushing for us to do African Renaissance, Chinese come back and says, no, democracy is not working for us. We need to go back to our Communist Party of China. So China doesn't have a president. What China have is chairman of the Communist Party of China. And so it's a leadership of the elders. It's elders sitting and making decisions. And then the young man they present as the president is just like a funnel download the decision of the elders. So Nigeria is a people that have population of over 200 million people. Over 200 million people. And then one young man says he's the president. He's carrying a knowledge that will govern over 200 million people. And I will be a little bit explicit. When the white man entered Africa, the first thing they did, that they built structures that were against our ways of life. And so they built a government, and they called the government democracy. That is a government by which it was established on fighting to enact a leader. And so the purpose of that government is to exploit the resources, easy flow of resources from Africans to that place. And so you discover this was the exact government that we are still practicing today. What they did is that Africans is not free. We think we are free, but we are not. We are under pure physical enslavement with gun and ammunition. What they did, that when they came into Africa, they began to, when they pick our own brothers, trained our own brothers on how to function in those same institutions, in that same democratic system. Like somebody come and put POS in front of my POS shop, and it's affecting my business. And I keep on complaining that Yambaba POS is disturbing my business. Yambaba now trained my own brother from Ohuano Boka and put him in there as POS attendant and left. This is what is happening today with Nigerian government. Somebody came to Africa where we have the culture that preserve leadership of the elders, and then built a government that actually puts young boys to come and fight, kill themselves to become a leader. And when he want to leave, he picked my own brother and trained him and put him there. So the structure didn't die. The structure is still there, so that it is now being operated by my own brother. So the democracy now came with laws. Constitution is concern of the West. And then I tell people that a barrister is a man who has been trained in the Western institution to enforce that the laws governing his people are now custom and tradition, whereas the custom and tradition of the white people is now the law of his people. That it is legal does not make it right. Legal only becomes right when the people build their own law. When a species build their law for another species, that law in its own state is a crime. So I submit to you in all sincerity, all Nigerian institution, all Nigerian constitution is criminality. All from beginning to end.
What are you prescribing?
I'm prescribing organic restoration of the ways of our justice.
Ọ bụrụ na ị chọrọ igwe anaghị ajụ gị arụ oyi, nwanne jebe na Pine Leaf Estate and Properties Limited.
Our justice system is in the hands of the elders. The eldest men in the community hold our offer. And then when you have issues, it is judged by elders. When you train young boys who are hungry, do you know how many young boys who are looking on this media to eat as lawyer? What they are just waiting is brokers you will do. And they will charge you to court. Somebody says you spoke against him, character defamation. And the young boys came and begin to quote constitutions. They are hungry. So they feed on creating problem and solving the problem. Not on, I'm being very, very factual. Not on actually finding justice. Because I tell people, if justice is the goal of the law institution, Nigeria will not have been graduating thousands of lawyers every year. We graduate thousands of lawyers every day because we are creating them job opportunity. So when justice becomes job opportunity, people make business out of it. And so the magistrate is functioning on evidence, not on truth. And so I can be right and you are wrong. You are wrong, but you know how to formulate evidence. Have you ever seen where a Yahoo boy do an ID card? Like something like you are wearing now. And now they bring the two ID card. You are struggling to actually see the difference between the one your own company owned and the one he brought. Evidence. So evidence is not truth. So that's why when you want to enter into the cadres of men that uphold the justice, the first thing they do is that they tame you. We tame a man. Young man, you have to go into the bush. When you come out there, you stay there for 7 days. When you come out, we find the razor and we place it on your tongue. And blood come out. It invalidates you not to tell lie. What you tell is only the truth. And if you tell what is not the truth, you will die. So the justice law was in the hands of the elders. You take it away, you reintroduce the feminine institution. So what we now see at all their laws is against our ways of life. It's against our ways of life. It's threatening the ways we live. Today, IHEDI is going to have issue with a woman. My wife I brought into my own house. She's not corresponding with the terminologies I brought in my house. And I says, young lady, I brought in my company for you to come and produce children because marriage in Africa is a factory for manufacturing children. I'm being very factual. People, you see, Western Israel have destroyed us terribly. So, you now tell the woman, what will happen to you? We go back to your father's house. When your head is calm, you can come back. The person goes to court and he's not even going to court. He branch in Wakol and take a paper from Wakol. You think the woman is joking? They take you to court. Your brother from Ogboka will come up in the court and quotes an issue and says, according to section so and so, we will divide your property into 2 and give the woman half. You are now asking the person, where did this law come from? The person says, this is not how we do it in Ogboka. The person says, no, it's not the way you do it in Ogboka. It is the way they do it in England. So what is the law of England doing on Ogboka? I said, I don't know. I'm just a gatekeeper. I've been trained and put here to ensure that the laws governing your people is no longer standing, but the laws in the West is now used to govern your own people. You think it's that you will divide your property into 2, give the half to the woman. So the law on its own self is injustice against you because it is not the law of the land. That's why they have freedom. That's why they have hate speech, but they don't have hate action. Somebody can act negatively against you. They have no issues against it, but your reaction. So the whole law was brought to truncate. Africans is a people governed by elders. So until we reinstitute that place where you see, at the end of every 4 years, we renew our certificate for hatred in democracy. Democracy is never for indigenous people. It will never work for any African people. It will never work. People complain about the leaders are only complaining about the fruit that is produced from the tree. The question becomes, how is the leader selected? You carry people. We are not meant to fight to get a leader. We are people that are meant to have. Kings are not made in Africa. Kings are born. So, do you want to talk?
Yes, okay. I want to put it to you that you are not practicing what you're preaching.
How?
Because do you know why?
Yes.
If it's na ihe na atọ to they should see evidence.
Okay.
As you are saying this thing now, the first point of a man's identity is the countenance, how the man look, what the man wears. You are preaching African Renaissance, and look at you wearing Dior. You are wearing face cap. Our forefathers never wore face cap. You are wearing polo. They never wore polo. You are wearing rugged jean. Because actually, whether me will last then to be in a river. You are wearing a rugged jean and you're wearing canvas. Okay. I listened to some of these African guys, and then when you see them, because I just begin to realize that if this video now flies to India, if the person wants to play it, what is the first thing they will see? They will see two people. Well, one is wearing Oibo Frafi, one is wearing hip hop. I feel you should represent what you believe.
I don't believe, sorry. We know what we understand,
okay.
Our culture.
Okay, represent what you understand.
Okay.
Because you cannot be saying that Onya Emeteragofma and you are still wearing what the person is producing.
Okay, let me tell you the truth. Let me tell you the truth. One thing you must understand is that life and culture is not in clothes we wear. Even though our system of code of dressing equally represent what we are coming up. But one thing I must make you understand is that we are speaking for a restoration in culture does not mean that you will stop using white man property. Because you still have a phone, you make phone call.
You are biased.
You still have, wait. Let me make you understand something. If we are speaking against white man and we don't want to use white man something, all of us will come out from Facebook.
Phone is not identity.
Wait.
How you look. No, see.
I know you are talking about my physical appearance.
When you talk, you should listen to, because you teach,
yes.
and then one of the other ways to actually teach is to learn.
Yes,
I'm talking to you about identity and culture. Number one means of identifying culture, language, and identity. You can take it from anywhere. When you see a South African on Facebook, before you click the video, you know that these people are South Africans.
So what do you think I'm supposed to dress and come here? Be real now.
Okay. What would actually pass the African message?
Okay.
The Africans, most times, were bare-chested. And then most times we wear animal skins. That's why I see this Enugu Fuka guy, Igwe Nkume, or something. He wears polo, but when he goes to occasions, even though that some of those things are even helped by the whites to make for us, but it represents who we are. Is more. I want this video. You are saying so many strong things, and I know how far this message will go when you dress the part. Once you start dressing the part, because I see your videos and you wear face cap and you wear, come on. That is one thing I may give to Maze. No, Matthias.
Matthias says that.
Okay? There is a part you're dressing. I'm telling you, you may not understand it now, but later you say, Yam Baba told me this thing. So that it doesn't blur your message. Sometimes you push a narrative, but you ask yourself, why is it not entering? Your identity sometimes will blur your message. It's not meant for you to argue, meant for you to actually, something that you should actually understand. It will help.
The beauty of Renaissance is that we accept, like I told you before, Ibe.
Yes.
So what you are telling me now is you are showing me the place I need to readjust.
Yes.
And now what we actually make what I'm preaching through that I accept that I am wrong. And then I will have to go back and readdress my dressing system. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's talk about monogamy. You mentioned monogamy as one of the greatest evil. Please, can you say one or two things about that?
The greatest evil in the whole world is one man, one wife. The teaching of monogamy. And this was actually the fruit that was produced from the tree that is planted in our land by the colonialists called Christianity. Before the white man came here, our ancestors built an everlasting eternal marriage family system. That is a place where a woman is entering into your compound and she discover I've entered a place where I will live and I will die. And so they set a corporation. And for us to understand this thing, the first thing we must understand is that in the whole world, there are two types of culture: masculine culture and the feminine culture. The masculine culture is a culture of men, and that culture is built on truth, because men take responsibility and then lie have negative consequences. But then the second culture is called the feminine culture. That's the culture of the women. And this culture is built on terrible lies because it is meant to fund business. And so a man who wants to maximize business will tell a lot of lies. And so in Africa, when we have nature, when we have the culture of truth, we built a family unit by which there is cooperation and chronology in our family setting. And so where our ancestors built marriage, there is no love. Love is the opposite of leadership. Love and romance is against discipline. In fact, when somebody tell you that this man is not romantic, it simply means the man is disciplined. So the opposite of discipline is love. The opposite of discipline is love. So where our ancestors established marriage, the marriage was established on the basis of leadership and boundaries. So a man is like a tree. A woman is like a bird that comes to perch under this tree to get shadow, protection to produce children. And so in this account, a woman knows her boundary. We establish marriage in Africa is like a company that produces children for the purpose of producing children. This is the whole purpose for survival. And so where we build this company, the man is the CEO. And so the wife that is coming in your house is coming in your house as your worker that you are employing. And so we own that in the principle of CEO. For a CEO to have effective service in his company, there must be numerous workers. I come inside here, I see many people who are working for you. If you have only but one worker here, you will struggle to control the person because by natural default, there is no substitute. So in our marriage system, it is built in a system by which the man who is the CEO is planted as a tree, and then women came to perch under the man. And so a woman is like a yam tendrils that is coming out, which does not have any direction or pathways unless the farmer guided it on a bamboo tree. So a man is the bamboo tree, and the woman can only find direction in life when she found herself in the pathways of a man. And this direction of this woman is going to happen when the woman understands my boundary in the house of this man, not entering into the house of a romance or a house of love. And so on account of this, we establish everlasting relationship between a man and a woman. And one is we must understand the basis of polygamy. How did polygamy start? If you come to Oboka today, let's say we have 100 people in Oboka, total number of 100 people. And then we have, by natural default, 60 girls and 40 boys. This is how nature made life. You discover the day that we share land belonging to Oboka. The whole land in Oboka will be given to the 40 boys. And no land will be given to the women. And why is it so? The land is a commitment, an oath, a vow in our hands that we have agreed that we will marry off all these other 60 women in our community who did not participate in land sharing. So your sister comes back to home and asks your father, Daddy, why did you not share me land? He says it's because you are going to marry. So the lady was deprived of the natural community resources because she has been assured of a husband. So a man's participation in land sharing is automatic agreement, automatic commitment that number one, I am going to marry off all the women in the community, and number two, I'm going to ensure that we use this land we shared to produce food for the purpose of growing children. I'm showing you the pathways of our everlasting marriage system. And so once a man takes this land, the man has been given responsibility to marry women in the community. I cannot take community land and then I say a lady who is not taking community land and just leave her stranded. She doesn't have a resources or property. She doesn't have an inheritance. So what then becomes her next basis? Only in the arms of a man. And so when we build that system, automatically there is everlasting peace in our home. So we can have, because what prolongs the life of a man is peace. And what establishes our long relationship is understanding boundaries, not love. I can come here to work for you now. The only thing that will make me and you to have lasting relationship, even as a friend, is when we understand boundary, because that we agree today does not mean that we will not disagree tomorrow. There's something that we talk tomorrow that me and you will literally disagree. And so if I understand that there is disagreement, I will not build love relationship. I will build a boundary relationship.
Yeah, why are you comparing here to marriage and comparing husband to CEO? Marriage is never a merchandise.
Thank you so much. In Africa, marriage is a company and functions exactly like the company of the white man institution. Then the white man destroyed the marriage and set up deliberate fights between a man and a woman in the name of a partner or a companion. Your wife is not your partner, your wife is your worker.
My wife is my worker. I want you to make me understand that me and my workers, we don't actually come together to actually get new companies. Okay, but me and my wife come together and we bear children. So that's coming together to bear children. What do me and my worker come together to bear?
The purpose of bringing the worker is for the purpose of growing children. Like, let me explain it. Marriage is a company in Africa. The man is the CEO, the woman is the worker, the children is the product. I'm going to be very, very explicit. Like, I understand this thing. I grew up with my grandfather. My grandfather, go and see where my grandfather set his wife. All of them till today, they are still at peace. I'm going to be contextual about it now. When you build your family as a corporation, when you build your family as a family, number one, it produces automatic leadership. But when you keep your wife as a partner or as a companion or as a soulmate, that is the reason why marriage today is full of divorce. You hear AY marriage, divorce after 20-something years. You hear Mackenzie relationship, divorce. You hear Ake marriage, divorce. You hear all these celebrities. Elon Musk, the richest man in the whole world. Bill Gates, the richest man in the whole world, divorce. What is the reason? Pastor Chris Onyakilomi. It's because when you don't follow the principle, the pathways of nature, you can never build something that is everlasting. Building everlasting family starts coming when we build a family of boundary, not a family of love.
Are you saying that a man does not need a companion?
A man doesn't need a companion. A man doesn't need a companion.
Our forefathers married women, and the women that they married are Obidia, Ugodia.
Thank you so much.
Oriakudia, Odoziakudia, Osodieme. And all those things, you don't have such a relationship with a worker. He's a partner.
A man in the olden days called his wife her name. Follow me carefully. When he comes in a home, a man calls the wife by her name. There is nothing like sweetheart. There's not like Wanyinka. Let me.
So where does Ugodia and
Ugodia is a name you can give to a woman. You can call a woman when you are praising her. Like a woman does cook a very beautiful, delicious meal, or a woman does a very something unusual, and you want to praise, or she's even dancing, you want to praise her. You can start saying Obidia, Ugodia, and all of that. But on the principle of CEO, a husband calls the wife by their name, Nkechi, Ngozi, and all of that. And the reason why she calls that name is because it brings sense of ownership. When somebody calls you your name, and then the woman cannot call the man the name, just as the workers in your house in your office cannot call the man by his name. So you start hearing Nanye, Onyewem. The reason is because we are trying to establish a psychology of leadership and ownership. But then you bring a woman to your house, and the woman begin to call you baby, sweetheart, honey, soulmate. My dear brother, you have destroyed the principle of you have destroyed everything that makes you to lead. Because when you have your wife as a partner, you now discover that in partnership, there is no leader. Telling a monogamous wife to submit under a man is like telling a director in Army General to submit to another director with the same army rank. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So all teachings given to a woman, which does not include the husband liberty and freedom to marry more wife, already destroys her humility of service and longevity of that family. And then I am going to be a little bit contextual in the danger why I says it is the greatest evil in our society. Before the white man came to Africa, there is no young lady who is not assured of a husband. Getting a husband is not a prayer point. No girl prays. All the girl work on is her character, because she knows that when time of marriage comes, people are going to assess how you live, how your mother live in your father's house to be able to form a home. Even before her breast shape is out, her husband is certain. But today, the greatest evil that came in our society is where we built a society of one man, one wife. We now have thousands of unmarried women. And that is the reason, that is the way that church can be full of women praying for husband, and then prostitution can be established in our land. Do you know if you go to Dubai today, you will discover a woman cannot wear something that reveal her breast and come out in the streets? Or you cannot kiss a woman outside. It's because they practice the masculine culture like Africans, just like the North practice it. Because you see, people who have Islamic culture have masculine culture. And masculine culture frowns against prostitution. Because we know that with a society who have sexual violations, where our women are violated, we found it difficult to build a unified family. And so they frown at kissing. Do you know that the first time Cristiano Ronaldo entered Saudi Arabia, the dressing code of his wife, they were fined to court because her dressing contradicts the ways of living. So we know that a woman must be shaped into a family, and then we must make sure that no woman is left unmarried. That is why even when a widow dies, we must provide that with another husband. We don't tell the widow to go and commit yourself to the Lord, because you can't commit yourself to the Lord when God doesn't have a penis. The woman needs sexual satisfaction. She needs caring and protection of a man in her life. And so we make available that which we preserve that posterity. Take that responsibility and down share. So when we want to save our society from immoral defamation, a pastor who preaches against prostitution and yet teaches monogamy is a devilish man. That's why I told that Christianity is about speaking and acting direct opposite. That's when what you are saying and what you are doing is direct opposite. How can you tell a young lady of 25, 26 years who doesn't have a husband and you are preaching to her about sexual impurity? It's just like you have brought a fish outside. I tell people that motivational speaking is about teaching fishes how to survive outside the water. Like you bring fish outside the water, put them on the ground, and not telling the fishes, if you want to live outside the water, be bold, be confident, don't be afraid. People survive outside the water. You're not teaching them outside the water, but you know that there was a pathway where which your natural culture found solutions to this. So when you now produce a teaching of one man, one wife, number one it does is that it produces massive number of unmarried girls who will now turn into prostitution, and this is done so that even the reverend fathers can have women that they will be sleeping with. And so number two, you now discover women cannot stay in their husband's house. And when women cannot stay in their husband's house is because they are not seeing the man as their owner. Like our ancestors will tell a woman, I own you and I own everything you have. And the woman understands. They even sang it in song. The loyalty of the woman is completely under the man. Christians now created a society by which you now have a pastor. The loyalty of the pastor, of the women, is with the pastor in the church. And then all her responsibility is with the man at the home. So anytime the man is talking, you now discover the woman is just there to fight, and they know it's a fight, and they told that marriage setting is until death do you part. And so you now discover the reason why we do marriage anniversaries today is to remind you that this marriage you built is not everlasting. That which is everlasting have no record of age. That which is eternal is ageless. When we are entering into a home in the days of our fathers, there's not something like we did 5 years marriage anniversary or 10 years marriage anniversary. No, it's because we know we came here to die here. But when you finish doing marriage, your wife come and says, it's 2 years anniversary, it's 2 years marriage anniversary, it's 5 years, it's 10 years. She's reminding you that you have built something that have record of age. The counting of age is consciousness that this thing have expiring dates. When something don't expire, if you see a tree, do you bother to know how many years it has lived? You know the tree is eternal. This one may even exist until you die, it will not crash. But anytime you are reckoning age, if you buy anything here and you are checking the age, it's because you know this one will expire and stop working on a particular date. So a marriage anniversary is consciousness that we establish something on temporal features. And what is temporal features? Love. Love is emotional reaction to people's temporal action towards you. I can love you now because I entered here and you give me good hospitality. You gave me water. You gave me drink. I can say I love Yambaba. If you pick my phone here and smash my phone on the ground, all the love I have for you died immediately. So love is just my emotional reaction to what you are acting. Love is just my emotional reaction to the current way you are treating me. So you can say, lady says, I love that guy. I love him so much. He paid my school fees. He paid my lodge rent. He opened the business for me. He bought a car for me. I love him. And the next day, the young lady enters into the guy's compound and see the guy on top of another lady. The guy says, "You broke my heart. I'm no longer doing it again." The whole love died. What happened? The hormones she was responding to has changed. And so, since we know what we are building is everlasting, let us push away love and understand ourselves. If you build understanding, marriage again will be formidable. And the reason why we are practicing polygamy is because in Africa we practice gender segregation. Gender segregation is separation of man from women. Men goes with men, women goes with women, because the purpose of life of a man is territory defense. The purpose of life of a woman is to produce children. And so a man is like an umbrella that shelters that women and the children. You see, women by nature are illogical. And the reason why they are illogical is because your stomach is illogical. Your eyelid is illogical. You see, your eyelid is blinking every minute. Do you know why it's blinking? It's protecting the most sensitive organ in your eye. If somebody wants to, the most hardest place to get in your part of your body is your eye. As anything is coming close, you see it, we do. Naturally default. And then you see, even when sound eventually entered your eye, and you want to remove it, you cannot use negotiation to convince your eyelid that a death enters your eye. So remain open, let me remove it. No, the eyelid will continue blinking. You have to use your hand to hold it and remove it, because that is how a woman is. A woman is impulsive. I will give another instance. Your stomach. You want to understand a woman, look at the principle of your stomach. You see, in your stomach, you ate today. You ate in the morning before you are coming here. That's not what your stomach is asking you this afternoon. If hunger comes this afternoon and you are reminding your stomach that I eat chicken in the morning and all of that, the stomach says no. I don't have retentive memory of history of yesterday. I need something to eat today. And the reason why a woman is acting like that is because the woman preserves the two most sensitive organs in the family. There are two most sensitive organs in the family that a woman preserves. One is the children, the little children. A woman takes care of a little child. If you see how a woman reacts when a child is sick, you will be shocked. How her action is fast. She's furious. She's just very, very anxious. She applies all medicine that comes to her hearing because the child is sick. She's protecting the most infant. And number two, the reason why women don't have understand that the women take care of the kitchen. The kitchen and the infant is the reason why women are created to be illogical. And so they are designed by that way. Nature is perfect to make them impulsive in that way. And so for us to work in alignment with nature, this one who is impulsive will come under submission of a logic. Because impulse cannot be a partner of a logic. Impulse can only be under logic. Like there is impulse in my hand. As I'm talking now, I'm moving up my hand up and down. You see the impulse moving in my hand. And this impulse is wired under the control of the logic in my brain. It's not moving itself. It's my brain that is moving it. Imagine if my hand is moving like this now, and my brain wants to control it, but my brain cannot. They will now say deliberate madness have happened. So my hand is now shaking, but I cannot control it. That's madness. So impulse cannot be a partner of logic. A man is logic. A woman is impulsive. A woman is impulsive because she protects the most sensitive organ. A man is logic because a man protects the society and protects the home. That's why they say one born no work no. So the one who sees farsighted takes the leadership. And for him to lead, there must be numerous workers. Because one and only child, one and only wife is like one and only child. You see, a woman who have one and only child will always be terrorized by the child. When you tell the child you want to be the child says, I will go and kill myself. Because the child knows there is no replacement. The mother is always under pressure of the child dying. And so that is the situation of a man who has a one wife. You see, a monogamous woman, there is difference between that a man decides to have one wife because of his state of mind or because he's limited in finances. But when your wife is the person in your house telling you that another woman will not enter here, just understand just someone that came to fight you to make sure that you don't have peace of mind. So that is the basis of the destruction of the family we have today. And for us to heal our society, the facts, when we say let's go back to our roots begins with polygamy. Coming back to that family where communism is enthroned, because polygamy is built on communism. Monogamy is built on capitalism. If an Hausa man is doing POS here, another Hausa man is doing POS. If an Hausa man receives 4 or 5 POS attendants, he will push one to the other, say like 2 or 3, go to the other side and do. If he gets 2 CPAS, he will push to the other person. Because in In polygamy, everybody have communal spirit. Everybody thinks one as one. We think you see me as you see yourself. But when an Igbo man is doing POC and another Igbo man puts another POC, automatically we are enemy. We are no longer friends. We begin to even think about the way that one will even leave that place. Because I came out from a monogamous setting where the communal spirit is not. Our society, which was once molded in communist party of polygamy, have ascended to degradation towards the teachings of monogamy. Monogamy have become the greatest evil that destroyed our society today. Anytime you see a young lady who is ripe and unmarried, you just see a walking harm. A young lady who is ripe and unmarried is like a wire with electricity that is not insulated. And so our ancestors established these pathways of everlasting home. And for these ladies to found peace in their home, they must understand leadership. They must understand boundary. We can't build things on emotional features. We must build things. We must build things on leadership.
Are you saying that women are incapable of leading? Like, are you saying that women cannot lead?
Lead where? The question is lead where? Lead their fellow women. A woman can lead her fellow woman, but when it comes in the family, a woman cannot lead a family. Otherwise, there will be unimaginable deliberate madness.
Okay, there are some things you say that I don't agree with.
Okay, tell me.
No, I don't need to tell you so that we don't argue. This is your show. You are my guest. Okay, I will leave it to the comment section to come and do the argument. There are so many things that you say that I agree with, but it's just that it lacks balance. And then let me not exhaust you further.
But I'm so exhausted.
Yes, so una anugone anabam anyị na ihe the light of Africa no. I was entertained. I love what he does on social media, and then I brought him here so that he can also give a wider explanation, and then me too ask him some troubling questions. Here at the Light of Africa. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for hosting me. I really appreciate that place you told me about clothing.
Yes.
Because the reason why we discuss that we mingle ideas, understanding is built in culture and reasoning. And you told me and you give me basis. And then I see that you are right and I accepted. But the problem that Christianity or religion never allows verification. Like somebody is just placed this in this comment, you will see that things a carnal man cannot understand the things of the spirit. Come out from the spirit. Let's sit down and discuss so that we can I
promise you that you would actually your message will go further when you are without a face cap and you have very good body. You're not like me that have aphobia, so you can wear something traditionally maybe that bears some of your skin, then cowries on your neck to just show the African man.
My brother, do you know how much they are selling these things you mentioned?
No, it's not a problem financially. I'm telling you to be conscious of it first, so that when money comes, you will now know. You will see that they are looking at an African man.
We are still growing. Yes, thank you so much for the correction.
Just take note of that. And then Afam Kabo Dr. Chijoki Gweno Dogubu Yamba Bezbonya Ba. One other one and keep as well. Thank you, Hedi, for coming through.
Thank you so much for hosting me, Yamba. I'm so grateful.
You're welcome.
You so much.
Thank you. Peace.
Inwere akọpụrụ iche ịchọkụ ụwa nọ. Inwe ife dị n'obi ịchọ ikwu gbam. Inwere ife dị omimi ịchọkụ onye ọbụla malụ. Onwere akala aka izole ezo ịchọkụ ụwa fo na inwe passion for. Bịa na gbam ka ụwa n'onu yi. Inwere business ịchọ ikwunye n'ọkụ. Onwe product ịchọ osoro na gbam. Ịchọ ka ife ị na-ele, ife ị na-eme na-aga as viral as gbam. We are here for you. Contact the number on your screen. Ka ikwunye n'ọkụ ka ifu na ọ na-eme. Adamuaka, Gbam is the biggest Igbo interview in the world. Come and find out for yourself. Thank you.